This totally sucks. When is it going to get better? We're going to go through what needs to change in the graphics card market in order for things to actually improve in 2021 and what you can do in the meantime, including a couple of key cards to be looking for in the used market coming right up. Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Today we're going to be talking about the graphics card market. Why does it suck so bad? What needs to change in order for it to get better in 2021? And what can you do right now in order to put a build together? We have a couple of used values and maybe even some new ones. And we're going to take a look at what it takes to get some of these new cards coming out as well. Of course, that's what we do here at the channel. We're always working hard to get you the best price to performance in your builds. So remember to give the video a like and subscribe if this is the kind of content that you want more of and you want to support. With that, let's jump right into it. So let's start off talking about why does the PC parts market suck so bad right now? Well, let's start off with the thing that I'm surprised that nobody else is talking about. It was widely reported back in July, this is ahead of the launch of the RTX 3000 series, that NVIDIA had ceased production on its Turing and on its RTX 2000 series cards. Now, a lot of people at the time were speculating that it was doing this because when they rolled out Turing 2 years ago, they still had a lot of 1000 series graphics cards coming out, and they felt like it kind of oversaturated the market. So they were creating, this is what's being claimed, artificial scarcity in the market in order to drive the sales of their RTX 3000 lineup and drive a higher MSRP. Of course, that's not the only thing that happened. The other thing that happened, is we all know about this, is that sales of PC parts and demand for PC parts is absolutely through the roof due to work from home conditions. Everybody needs more computers than they previously did. A lot of people haven't been back to their office in over almost a year at this point. Of course, as we entered the end of the year, something else happened to really negatively impact the market. That was that cryptocurrency exploded again. And in particular, Ethereum, which is the one currency you really can mine with GPUs, and it makes the most sense to mine it with GPUs, has absolutely exploded and gone beyond anyone's wildest imagination, and it's 2017 all over again. Unfortunately, the Trump administration had put tariffs on China in 2018 and had given a temporary waiver to graphics cards and other types of computer components. Well, at the end of the administration, it kind of feels like nobody was really paying attention to this because they didn't extend those waivers after 2020 ended. So now all the graphics cards, motherboards, things produced in China are going to get hit with a 25% tariff. So we're seeing the MSRPs of these graphics cards, even if you can get them at retail in the brief 10-second window when they're there during a drop. Graphics card, for instance, the RTX 3060 Ti here, the Asus Dual I bought for $429 at launch, is currently selling for $509. That's $80 more than I paid for it, and I was lucky enough to get this in a drop. So those are some of the things that are absolutely going crazy right now with the market, and it's driving a shortage, not just in the new market, but also in the used market. And of course, I would be remiss if you didn't talk about the graphics card market if you didn't also talk about the impact of scalpers. So just looking at eBay for RTX 3090, 3080, and 3070 cards that have been sold, that means the auctions have been completed and sold over the last couple of months, where the cards have sold well over MSRP, I pull up about 4,988 results for 3090 cards. If we take a look at 3080 cards, that's 8,370 cards. And if we look at 3070 cards, 9,395 cards. So you're talking about well over 20,000 graphics cards that have been scooped up by bots and scalpers, basically, to further inflate the price. So against that, what are we going to do? How do things get better? We've looked at why it sucks. What's going to make it better in the future? Well, both NVIDIA and AMD addressed this at CES in early January, and the news was not good. They're basically saying that we're all kind of screwed until at least the first half of the year is over. Now, yes, on the positive side, NVIDIA is going to release the 3060 non-TI cards. That's going to happen sometime at the end of February. Again, though, do we really expect availability for that card to be any better than anything else? No. AMD is not going to start releasing its more mid-range cards until at least March, maybe even April. So there's no immediate relief coming anytime soon. So what are we going to do? Well, you can do a couple of things. Number one, you can just decide you're not building until, August of this year. I know a lot of you don't want to do that. So if you don't, you do have a couple of options. The first is you can go out and slug it out with the bots. Now, I did put together a video, and I'll put that in the card right there. How to beat the bots, how to go out and actually get some of this new tech. Now, of course, the MSRP on all this has been driven up by the tariffs. Nothing you can do about that, but at least you can get one potentially at retail if you want to put in the time to do it. And you can do it. I've got two cards right here, and I have an AMD 5000 series processor, all of which I had to purchase myself. I don't get this stuff sent to me. I'm not that big of a channel. So that's one option. However, if you don't want to do that, and if you want to get something now, you do have a couple of options on the used market. So let's take a look at the graphics cards that you can get right now on eBay. So starting at the budget level, they still have the RX 570, not the best price in the world. If you remember this time last year, you could get one for about $120 new. You will pay about $150 used right now. If you don't feel comfortable buying a used card, you can, still at Newegg, the ASRock Phantom Gaming Radeon RX 570, they keep getting stock of this thing, so it's at $200. Again, we're talking inflated prices here, but this is if you want to build and you don't want to wait. And remember, all the prices have gone up due to the tariffs. So to me, this is still an okay deal given the extraordinary circumstances. So you can get the RX 570 new, or you can get it used on eBay for about a $50 discount. Of course, there's also our trusty friend, the RX 580, which you can still get for just about $160, $165 with shipping, sometimes $170. Now, yes, that used to be its new price, but these are really good cards. You can even do some games in 1440p on them. So really, really good option. And still, there's still a good availability of cards on eBay. Yes, a year ago, you could get them for $100 on eBay, but it's not a year ago. We're in the apocalypse now. This is what the cards just cost, unless you want to wait a year or more. On the NVIDIA side, not a bad deal. The GTX 1070 selling for about $300. You're going to get better performance than the RX 580 for that. You're going to get 1440p levels of performance in most games if you turn it down to high details. And again, you can get some really, really good cards for about $300. Yes, a year ago, used, you could get one of these for $200, but I'm just going to keep saying this. We're not in a year ago, we're in now. And then finally, the other cards I would look at are the GTX 1080, not the 1080 Ti because those are selling for insane prices, but the GTX 1080, it's going to give you more performance than the 1070. This is a 1440p capable card. You're going to get 60 FPS at high to ultra details in most titles. In shooters, as long as you turn it down to competitive titles, at 1440p, you should get high refresh rates out of it. You can find one of these for anywhere from $400-ish to $450, depending on the model of the card. Some of them come with water blocks, things of that nature. These were high-end cards that originally sold for about $600. Rounding this out, if you don't feel comfortable buying a card that's quite that old, I would take a look at the Radeon 5600 XT. Now, you're going to freak a little bit when I tell you the price of it, but remember, we're in a different market now. Those prices are gone. You just got to have a short memory on this. So you can buy a used one for about $440 on eBay, or you can still find these new on Newegg for about $460. Again, this was a $280 MSRP card. Some of them did cost a little bit more than that, of course. The Sapphire was one of them. But if you want to get 1080, GTX 1080 levels of performance, but not buy such an old card, the RX 5600 XT just came out last year. So this could be another really viable option for you if you want to put something together now and you don't want to go to war with the bots and slug it out to get something new. Heck, you even for $439, you're not going to be able to get a 3060, a 3060 Ti, a 3070, any of those cards anyway. They're all going to be going for much more than that. So to me, these are still options. And if you think about this in the terms of the overall cost of the build, you can still get CPUs for about the same price. Memory has gone up a little bit. Motherboards are about the same price. Power supplies have gotten cheaper. So if you're looking at the cost of the overall build, and I'll put together a $900 build you can build right now just to demonstrate this in another video, you can still put together a build where, yes, the graphics card costs more than it did, but as a function of the overall price of the build, it's still not quite as bad as we kind of think it is. So you can still put together a PC right now. I really want to emphasize that. So that's a quick look at the graphics card market, some of the forces that are basically crushing the market right now, what needs to change for it to get better. The fact is it's just not going to get better for probably 6 months to a year. That's just the reality right now. So I've given you some options. These are real options and you can actually do some things with them. Of course, again, if you want to go out and try and get the latest, greatest tech, I did put together a video on how to beat the bots on that. I would strongly recommend that if you're not interested in the used options. That's going to do it for this episode. I will catch you on the next one. In the meantime, try and stay zen about the world and the graphics card market apocalypse. Take care.